The most rewarding case I ever worked on was a young girl. She was probably only 4 when the accident happened. Her mom was driving her. She was in the back seat behind her mom, and they were rear-ended by a big truck. It was a GMC 2500. Well, what happened was is that there was a seat malfunction with the mom's seat, which caused the seat to collapse. And when it collapsed, um, the young girl got hurt. She actually had orbital fractures, some brain damage, and so we filed a products liability case against a very large um, vehicle manufacturer. And so I was a young lawyer, and it was kind of like going after these big giant corporations was scary as a young lawyer. And you know I I'll admit it, it was, I walked into a conference room and it was just me and my clients, and there was probably 7 lawyers that were working for this car company, and we ended up resolving the issue and taking care of her. And that one, just, it always sits with me. What keeps me motivated on tough and hard cases is, every client that signs up, with me, my responsibility is getting their life back on track. These people have been injured, they've been hurt by the negligence of somebody else. They have bills to pay. Now they can't work. Medical bills are piling up. And even on the tough cases, I remind myself all the time, that I I need to get their life back on track. I need to be there for them when they need somebody to lean on. And so all I got to do is think about why I'm doing it, what I'm doing it for, and that gets me through the tough cases. The person I would say inspires or inspired me the most would probably be my grandfather. He was a World War II soldier. He joined the Marines at 16, lied about his age. He served on Iwo Jima, Tinian, Saipan. After his service in World War II, he came back. He went to law school. Didn't even finish law school, but back then you could just go take the bar. So without even finishing law school, because he had other obligations in life, he just went and took the bar. He passed the bar. Had a practice in New Orleans for years, and then became a district court judge in New Orleans. He lived by the Marine, core values, and I never heard him curse. I never heard him, say a swear word at all. And just everybody I ever ran into said that he was one of the greatest men that they ever met. And proud to have him as my grandfather. So he inspired me the most. Well, I think it's to prepare for a big case. I mean, you got to start at the beginning. I sometimes, when on the initial meeting, I tell my clients, look, we have to start from day one. Like, this thing will go to trial. I believe that a lot of lawyers do it opposite, and they're playing catch up at the end. So if you start from day one preparing your client that everything that happens during the case, may be read out loud in court and will become evidence in court, I think you're one step ahead. And so as we get closer and closer to trial, I it's all hands on deck. So the 2 weeks before trial, I am doing nothing but focusing on that client's case. There's a lot of document review. It's basically like going to a war room and locking myself in and getting ready, and up until game day. And so that's it. If I wasn't a lawyer, I probably would have stayed in the military. Before I was a lawyer, I was active duty military. I wasn't an officer, but I was in the infantry. And, I do miss all the cool stuff that we got to do. But most importantly, I kind of miss the camaraderie, being around a group of guys, like minded individuals. And there's no greater sense of purpose that you get than serving your country, especially alongside a bunch of people that I was around. um, Being a lawyer still very rewarding, and I get to help people in my community, and I appreciate that. But if I wasn't a lawyer, then I definitely would have just stayed in. So people would probably be surprised based on my background and being in the military and all that, that I bake. And but there's a reason behind it. Like I have a 12-year-old daughter, and when your daughter walks up to you and she says, "Hey daddy, I want to bake some cupcakes," well, you better get that apron on and bake some cupcakes. So over the years, I have baked cakes, cupcakes, made cookies. So I think that's what people would be surprised to know about me.